Oh, hi, Melinda.
Hi. I made it.
Good. Hopefully, you're not the only one who makes it. Was it easy to join Zoom?
There's somebody else.
Was it fairly easy to add this, or
Yeah.
to get it
I
going?
had to click on it, and there was another button to click.
Yeah, because we'll be using Zoom school wide from now on. So everyone, somebody's going to create a video to show everyone how to download Zoom on their computers.
I just got a message that my bandwidth is too small or something. It just went away, or narrow.
Oh, I hope
Yeah, I
that's...
don't.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, we'll test it out today, make sure it works for everyone. And then, yeah. I don't know if I like this little door chime thing too much, but...
Is it okay? I'm just looking for a way to mute it because Liam's on the box and you guys might hear all sorts of weird noises, but just on the bottom.
It's anytime, you know, it's part of the program. Like time anybody joins that time on. Just quick, is my screen being shared with you?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Do you still see me, or do you just see the screen right now?
You're off in the corner. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm still here.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Yeah, I know for certain that there are going to be a few more people joining us, but we're also recording, so those who can't make it, they'll just follow the recording. Janice, I know you had a question about pay, and yeah, that should show up in the next one. I did forward your new hours to David, so I'm hoping it does show up on your next page check. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. How did it go on Monday?
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Kids are good.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw Dora the Explorer up there, so I knew at that point everything was good.
You can't have Spanish without Dora.
No, you can't. So that was good to see. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully it's just a starting point, and we can grow this. Yeah. Our hope is to have like language programs for K through 9 at least. Like at least one full day of it for next year. So this is a good starting point. Yeah.
So does this go on a report card? Like, do they need to have tests and assessments and stuff?
You actually don't have to worry about testing them in any way. And you're just going to provide back at the end of term some comments back to whoever the home teacher is. But as far as filling in an official report card and all that, you don't have to worry about that. Actually, you know what? Your only responsibility is to have fun with them learning the language, and so that takes out all the other administrative stuff that kind of takes the joy out of things sometimes. So yeah, just have
tacos and crepes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and make sure to invite me that week whenever you're doing that. Unless it's a weekly thing, then I'll be there. Good. It looks like we have quite a few here now. Mary Joan, Jenny just joined us. The video's not working. Okay, Suzanne just messaged me. She's stuck in the tunnel, so that's okay. The reason we moved to Zoom is first thing because of this cool view here. Do you guys know how to change the view? If you go look at the top right-hand corner, there's different views. It looks like it's like that grid-looking thing there. Yeah, as I kept on mentioning yesterday, I like the Brady Bunch view, where we're all in separate squares. We can look up and down at each other, and yeah. So Brady Bunch was just a little bit before my time, but I watch some reruns all the time, like after school and all that. So, and for some of you, you might not even know what Brady Bunch is, so that's okay.
Yeah, that was before my time.
Yeah, I know. You know. Okay. Good. It's good to see so many of you here today. We're just missing a few. Roman is teaching during this time. Ron is teaching during this time. So the next meeting, we're going to alternate it and put it somewhere else in the week, just to try to mix it up there a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right into the meat of this meeting here. For the most part, it does relate to innovations and direct. There will be some things that are direct specific. Janice is in innovations, but now she's also teaching community classes. So more of it than ever will apply to her. So it's good that she's here and everything. Okay, so I shared a link with you. And if you can somehow get to the direct bulletin, that'd be good. I'm just going to try to figure this out. If I share the link in chat, I wonder if that will allow you to, yeah, that should allow you to click on it and head over to the shared doc as well. Okay. So some of you are just arriving. We're using Zoom. The whole school is actually moving in this direction. Gabe and I sat down with Sherman the other day, and we feel that this is the best option as far as Hangout. It's actually better than Hangouts because it does allow us to record our meetings, and it gives us some different views that we can work with, which we like. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into the meeting. Today's meeting is a series of more or less some questions that have come up over the last little while. So my hope is to just provide some clarification. If it's not a concrete answer, I'm going to do my best to give you the best answer at this time, and then follow up with some details. So feel free to jump in and with your questions and your thoughts at any time. I'll take our meeting notes and the video, and I will share that as our bulletin for this month. Okay, number one is what considerations need to be made when a student joins your course midway through the year. Okay, so this has come up as a situation for some of you. For example, Megan, I know, and Jenny, they had a student who just showed up suddenly this week. And actually, I'll be honest, it caught me a little bit off guard as well. I wasn't expecting that they were going to start immediately this week. So, but anyways, what is your responsibility for the student? And I want to just put forward to you two scenarios, and hopefully that addresses the two different possibilities. Okay, if this student is joining in from an existing program in the year, whether it's a TLA program or whether it is a program that is from another school, my approach is that you will simply continue on as usual. You won't be responsible for going back and seeing what gaps they have in their learning and trying to fill that all in. We're just going to assume that, you know, for the first half of the year that I'm hearing somebody. Oh, is that Suzanne? Okay.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Okay.
You can hear me.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Okay. We are here. Yeah, we can hear you. Okay. So two scenarios. One is a student who joins mid-year from another school. At that point, I don't feel that it's your responsibility to make up for every little thing that they may have missed. Okay. But there might be also the scenario where a student is currently a home student and then they join your program. What that means is that they haven't done anything related to the course until they joined your course. At that point, there will be a little bit more work required of you, but you will also need to touch base with their home teacher to see what they've been doing at home. There's a possibility they're working with a home teacher, but they haven't even done anything related to your course yet at that point of the year. So there will be a little more touching base with the teacher. And now, I don't expect you to walk that student through your course class by class of everything they missed. That's not the case. You'll probably just create some sort of project to address the majority, for them to show their learning in some way. Okay, so yeah, so those are the two scenarios. One requires a little bit more work and follow-up. The other one will just accept them into the course as is, and we won't look to fill in the gaps in that scenario. So that has come up, and so just keep that in mind. Okay, the next question is, should we implement the condensed schedule again for grad week? So this applies only to those of you teaching blended courses. So if you're in exploratory innovations, it doesn't really apply, but just sit tight as we talk about this. Last grad week, we implemented a condensed schedule, meaning rather than going class went from 9 to 3:30, they ran from 9 to 12. Now, just as a general, to get you an idea of how you felt about that, we have an option this time around of actually not condensing it and just leaving it as a full day schedule. There's a few reasons behind this, and this came out of a conversation I had with Gabe earlier on this week. One, for grad week, they will no longer be doing the classes in the morning. So in previous grad weeks, online and some blended students would meet with their course teacher in the morning for, I think they had 2 sessions in the morning. They're going to actually stop that. They found that the attendance was just not worth the amount of time for teachers to fly out here and run those classes. So those are going to stop. What that means is that the outings and the events are actually going to be spread throughout the day, some in the morning, some in the afternoon, and all of that. Okay, so, and there are going to be some in the evening. So our condensed schedule doesn't actually allow students to attend anything anyway. Now, does anybody have any specific feedback or a real strong preference either way? Would anybody like to share your thoughts on how the condensed schedule went the last time around for you?
Hard. It was really hard, Brian, trying to fit an hour and a half into 75 minutes. Because by the time you got them settled down, it's time to pack up almost. So trying to do a math class, I remember coming out of it just saying, "What was that?" and hollering my head off at you. And so, yeah, it was
all Trina's fault, actually. Yeah, it had nothing to do with it. Yeah,
that was with the math, and then when I did the tech stuff the next day, I guess I was a little bit more ready for it, so it seemed a little bit better. So I kind of ate a bit of humble pie and thought, well, I guess if that's the way it's going to work. But if you could just leave it the way it normally, leave the regular schedule, I think it'd be that much better, personally.
Okay, let's just do an unofficial vote or show of hands here. Okay, how many of you would like to leave the condensed schedule in place? You can close your eyes if you want. I'll just keep my eyes open if you don't want. I don't know. We can do it. But how many of you would like to just remain with our usual 9 to 3:30 schedule? 1, 2. Okay, I think the majority wins here. And so I will notify Sandra, who is here today, and I'll confirm it with Gabe that we will go with our usual schedule and not the condensed classes. Yeah, okay. That's great. It looks like you guys have the students' interests in mind and giving a good, solid class and not trying to get out early or anything like that. So that's good. Okay. 3, what kind of learning activities should take place in the classroom? What to take this at home. Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Just keep in mind as you're planning throughout the week or for future classes, really what are things that students can accomplish at home. And if they can accomplish those things at home, should they really be doing it in class? Okay, so just think about that. Obviously, group work is harder to achieve at home. Collaboration on some level basically is harder to accomplish at home. Hands-on stuff is harder to accomplish at home. So we try to do more of those things in the classroom. Independent work, perhaps that's better done at home. Just keep that in mind as you're planning. I'm not thinking of anyone specifically. Just I'd like to remind us of it's just to make sure that we're giving the students the best learning experience that we can in class and also at home, like as well. So just keep that in mind, okay? Number 4, what do I have to consider when taking non-contact time off or just taking time off as a direct teacher? I understand life happens, such as Helen's graduation. Congratulations. That's happening later on in the year still? Or has it happened already, Helen? It did? Okay, so congratulations. Things like that happen. So life happens. I had to take an extra few hours off today because my mom, who usually takes care of Reese, got really sick this morning, so I had to take some time off and work with Reese sitting beside me while he watched Netflix, and so that's not the issue. But what I'd like you to keep in mind is if you're planning a trip or planning a few days off, try to plan for the least interference possible with your teaching schedule, okay? You're going to see that we are shifting our guidelines for taking time off, and you will see even more of a shift starting in the summer. Gabe has some announcements for us in a few weeks about, and it should be positive news for all of us about things about. Well, let's just something about the summer and time off. I won't go into too many details. Yeah. But there's something going to happen there. But if you do need to take some time off during the year, please come to me first. And I actually have to pass it through Gabe first before we can officially approve of it. Okay. And PLA, actually, I don't know how many of you knew this. It was probably in all your contracts that was signed this year. But you're actually not supposed to take more than 5 consecutive working days off in a row. So just to remind you of that as well. I've seen one teacher who's requested that. It's not actually any of you, and it was she's in a little bit more of a part-time role, but just keep that in mind. Other than Christmas, spring break, and the summer break, no teacher should be taking more than 5 days off. So we'll keep those things in mind as for the remainder of the year as we submit your requests. Okay, and please don't book anything before asking, because then we're kind of in a situation where, like, if you cancel, then you're gonna lose out on like a $500 deposit, and we're just like, that's a little too bad for you, and it's kind of putting us in a pretty difficult position. So yeah, my biggest thing is just please don't plan anything an extended time away during your teaching schedule. That's the biggest thing, okay? And there'll be some more clarification as of the February conference. Okay, next one out. Thank you for all those who provided me with some feedback about the direct day out. The direct day out was a field trip that we did department-wide for the blended courses in December. So for the most part, it went great. Like, everyone seemed to pretty much know where to go. We were in our groups and all of that, but definitely there are things to be cleaned up about the process. And so I'll continue to take your feedback on that. To actually put it out there right now, does anybody have any ideas of what we can do department-wide for another field trip? Maybe we can just toss some ideas around. Like we can do it once again. It can be partially science related, science math related, or STEM related, even engineering related, and then partially humanities related for the other half of the day. Has anybody been on any field trips that are fairly local? And we have decided that we will rent a bus the next time around, and everyone will get on the bus together, and we'll travel around and wave at cars as they go by. So. If anybody, does anybody have any strong preferences towards anything? Any really great field trips that you've gone on in the past with your students?
What's the one that has the rides? That
Playland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one where, whoever's taking physics, or you could incorporate something with that.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good one, because you can address actually parts of grade 8 science and grade 11 in that. So that actually makes it a really good one. You do need more of a full day there, so we'll see. We'll see if we can make it work. Or maybe we just all go to Playland for the day, and it's pretty good because you actually just send the students off, and they stay in groups, and there's a teacher's lounge there, and you just get to hang out there all day, and they give you coffee and stuff, and it's actually kind of fun. So, physics day at Playland is definitely an option, and thanks for reminding me of that. Anybody else have any ideas, especially like humanities related ones? I find that
Fort Langley.
Fort Langley, yeah. Has anybody brought a group there, and what did you do there? Or
They have actually guided tours, and depending on the age, they have different field trips and different focuses. Like, so for the younger ones, it was sort of a scavenger hunt. We went with hands-on history last year, and then I went as well with Julie's class.
okay,
And then with the older ones, they have more sort of role playing and things like that. But I thought it was really good, very engaging. And usually the field trip itself, or the guided part, is about 2 hours, and then they can spend the rest of the day there and have a picnic or whatever.
Brian, we
Yes.
were actually there yesterday.
at Fort Langley.
Yeah, we did the Centennial Museum, and then we did the Fur Trade Challenge.
And how did that work out for you guys?
I think it went really well. I mean, it was quiet. There wasn't really anybody else there, which was nice because they got more of a run of it. But I did like the 2 hour thing. It did feel, because it was a competition between the two groups, in a way it did feel quite rushed. So I agree that having more time there so that they can explore more, really get to do some of the activities, maybe in the summer the blacksmith shop's open and working. And so it wasn't fully operational, I don't think, because there were so few visitors.
Right.
But somebody else suggested, one of the parents was actually asking if I'd been to Britannia Mine in Britannia, but they said that was really good.
Yeah, and the nice thing about Britannia is I think you can address both science and social studies at that one location. We can look at rocks and minerals and like geological whatever processes. And then there is the social studies aspect of mining and BC history there too. That's definitely another option. So yeah, we'll keep this conversation ongoing. The next direct day out is actually scheduled following spring break. And this is just off the top of my head. I think the planning, the way it was, there was a week between spring break and then we came back and then it was Easter again. So we, instead of coming back for that 1 week and taking that, I think what we're talking about, do you know what it is? It's spring break, then we come back from Easter, and then there's just a shorter week there. Something like that, okay? But we scheduled it so that the direct day out can be within that short week and to address that. So, Melinda, yes?
This might be totally outrageous, but I'm just thinking about that staff outing when we went snowshoeing and how much fun that was. Is that like an option for maybe next winter or something like that?
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, I thought that was lots of fun.
Yeah.
I thought that'd be good for the kids too, the snowshoeing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Even Grouse has some things pretty cool.
things throughout the year too, but even like tubing and stuff as well. The one I was going to mention, I don't know for this year, but I took a grade 6 class to Steve to the Power Dam at Save Falls.
Oh yeah.
It was a cheap field trip, and like they did a really good job. They had a tour, then it's almost like a mini science world thing where the kids can kind of play around, but it's very economical.
Perfect. So once again, I guess it's one of those that it's mostly science related there, or are there aspects of social studies and things that can be pulled in?
I mean, I would say it that way. It's probably then maybe going to a longhouse or something like that. Like
yes.
Kind of native doing that.
Yeah. So we can combine activities out there, and great. Excellent. Those are excellent suggestions. I'm going to make note of all of these as I rewatch our recording and fill in our sheet, our agenda here. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to move on. Next one, arrange. Okay, this one is something that was brought up by a parent, and I know for Exploratorium. So Helen, now you guys have been planning field trips and even for direct, and the question always comes up: why aren't the teachers responsible for planning the rides for the students? Why are parents responsible for finding rides for their own children? Now, this goes back to the idea that we're a homeschool group, and so parents are very much more involved in those ways. But with that said, I'd also like to, and Sandra, your voice is probably quite important in this too. Should teachers, do you guys think, should we be more involved with arranging rides for students? Or should that, okay, Helen has some thoughts on this. Okay.
So for the grade 1-2 field trip, I organised it and asked parents to volunteer and then allocated children to their cars. Okay. It was a nightmare. Yeah. I hated it. We didn't get the forms from the parents. And then because of their age, we had to have booster seats. And then it was just horrible. And because it was quite a short field trip, there was complaining, just general complaining that, oh, well, so we've got to drop them off, then take them there and then bring them back and then come back later. And it's like, oh. So for the grade 5-6, yesterday I went over to you because I know that Christina had done it that way last term for the 5-6, and it seemed to work really well. I had no negative feedback.
Parents should be able to solve it for themselves, right? Like our community, I think, is tight-knit enough, or parents can find each other, or like I don't mind if we try to help connect the parents if they really don't, like we say, hey, why don't you try contacting that parent, but the responsibility shouldn't fall on our shoulders to make sure every child is that they're right. Okay. Just with a show of hands again, just based on what we very briefly talked about here, how many of you are in favor of just leaving it in the hands of parents, like to? All right. Okay. Otherwise, you just don't have. Okay. I agree, and I think it's just a nightmare when we try to organize it. Okay.
Hey, Brian.
Yes.
The one thing you said there, like the parents know each other and there's enough of community. I don't think there is. I think that's part of the problem.
That's me being helpful.
No, but I think depending on the class, like with innovations, and Julia's made a shared list. Mm-hmm. But I think in other places, so it'd be cool if there was a place for them to chat to one another, saying, "Hey, you going on a school trip? Could we carpool?" And that way, like if it was a regular school classroom, parents would be chatting at the doors all the time, dropping off the kids, and that's not what happens. So if there was that might be worthwhile looking into. But
I mean, it couldn't be easy as, hey, I'm going to take my whole class list of parent emails and email all of them and say, hey, this is a place where you can try connect with each other for rides. I just send out a class email and they can try to work it out for themselves within that.
Wouldn't we need to get permission to share everybody else's email addresses though?
If it's within a class, should that be an issue? Or
I don't think so, but there's a lot of different
parents. I think normally those kind of things are permissions on the front end. So because we don't have that already set up, I think you would probably have to get consent before sharing.
Okay.
I know some specific.
You can't share the emails.
Yeah.
And even within a class, eh? Yeah, that's true. Okay, we'll figure something out. Like,
It could even be we could send it like a point place, or like if you are interested in looking for rides, go to this doc and like even like a Google Doc, and people will share like some kind of collaborative space that we provide it for them.
right. So we can like BCC it originally and say, if you want, you can go to this place, and that way we're not just distributing emails. Whoever's in
I think that's what Julia did for Innovations with us. She BCC'd us all, first of all.
Yeah.
And then when we gave permission, she stuck us in a Google Doc, and pretty much everyone gave permission. But until then,
Okay. Excellent.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you and see you.
Yeah, when I actually logged in before, I was actually in a lineup stopped at the tunnel. So I was actually on my phone. So I'm here now. But yeah, I've done that like with my 12s. The parents have all given permission for me to share their emails.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a long-standing thing. I don't have to ask again. So
yeah.
If someone says I'm going from Langley, anyone else, then I'm like, contact this mom, this mom, this mom, and then they do it on their own. So.
Otherwise, it's you do the initial contact, and then from there you're hands off, right?
Yeah, and usually I try and go places like locally where they can all bus to.
Yeah.
10, 11, and 12s, they can all bus and train. So, and I'll train too, and I'll meet them at a train station. So.
Okay. Sounds good.
That works for me, but it wouldn't work for the K1s, that's for sure.
No.
But I don't want to be involved in rides. That is not, I don't do that. So
This is good. I'm glad we come to agreement on this point. I'm gonna get back to that parent and just say it's really not a responsibility. It's the way we have it set up is an extension of being a homeschool program, and parent involvement is expected, and there should be no, they should understand that.
Brian, is it the parent that I spoke to you about by any chance?
It is exploratorium parent, and she did say, the last teacher did arrange it for her.
Oh yes, okay.
Probably is, yeah. I won't say the name, but I think we're probably on the same. Yeah, we're talking about the same person here. Okay, just a few more points. It's 5 o'clock. So, what will we be doing as a department at the conference? Okay. So I don't know if you're aware of all the details of the staff conference yet. We have a full day where we're going to be together on Wednesdays. The morning we'll be as a whole school, and then in the afternoon we're going to break off into our departments. During that time, I'm going to separate you guys into the humanities departments and then the STEM departments. And then there might be some some that don't necessarily fit into those. They'll meet on their own too. The goal is to look at the new curriculum and look at how the major units have been reorganized over the years. So has an aspect of social studies 10 now been moved down to social studies 9. And we need to look at that and how we're going to address that as a department. That's part of what we're going to do. And we're also going to look at a new format for the course overviews. And that is very pain free. Okay, it's going to be very pain free. Note that I said reformat. That I didn't say a rewrite or necessarily even a major revision. It's just in a different way and reflect the new parts of the curriculum. I see some look on your faces right now, and I'm just like, I hate doing this. But the earlier we get to it, it actually shouldn't be something that's on your plate in the summer. Okay, it's how do we just make note of the new big ideas that are coming in with the new BC Ed plan? How are we going to make note of we have to somehow make note of the core competencies, okay, like communication, critical thinking. how does it all fit into your existing plan, okay? So we'll talk about that as well. And once again, I hope it's more of a reformat of it rather than a complete rewrite, okay? So no panicking. Everyone stay calm. Okay. All right. Okay, we're all good. Okay. No. Okay, so those are the things we're gonna do, and then there's actually gonna be, we have 2 dinners. The first one is going to be on Wednesday night. I think both are optional on Wednesday and Thursday. I don't know if it's okay. Oh well. Okay. The name of, okay. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you guys, but I'm just gonna tell you. Yeah. But the name's completely escaping me right now. What is that name of the pub / restaurant? Steamworks. Yes. Did Dave tell you guys already? Or
yeah.
No, well, he told me, but yeah.
No, he sent out
right.
an invite. He sent out an invite to everybody that you had to fill in.
Yeah, so we're all going to be heading to Steamworks. I don't know if you've been there, but I love the atmosphere. I think it's just going to be more relaxed, casual. We're not going to be all fine dining in our suit and ties and dresses, and it's just more relaxed atmosphere. So so we're going to go to Steamworks, and then I think the other night is we're going to break off into departments and go for a meal somewhere. If anybody has any good ideas of where to go as a department, let me know. Yeah. For those of you who frequent downtown restaurants in that area.
How about Gotham? I am
Well,
totally
I don't know
kidding.
if we can afford like a $60 steak for it's possible.
It wasn't
Maybe dollar pizza.
Yeah, we can split that steak between the 4 of you. Then yeah, sure.
If it was 1 week earlier, Dine Out Vancouver.
I know that would have been awesome. Yeah.
There's Mongoli Grill.
That we can all just fill up our own bowls and weigh it and get it. Yep.
Right.
Everything's
weren't compulsory, were they?
Sorry.
The dinners weren't compulsory.
No,
were
they're
they?
not. They were just I don't think either of them are. Is that right, Melissa?
I think that the Wednesday one specifically is strongly encouraged.
Yeah.
They're optional because it's a long day.
Yeah. So for the department one, if you guys have any good suggestions in that kind of close to that the convention center area, let me know, and we'll look into it. Okay. Otherwise, I think I'll go ahead and find something for us. Okay. Very quickly now, I'm going to finish in 5 minutes. Class schedule on Monday and Tuesday. Okay. There's no classes that week of the convention, Wednesday to Friday.
You're choppy.
I'm choppy. Is it okay now? Okay. There are no classes that week. Is it okay? Okay. Okay. There's no classes that Wednesday through Friday of that week. There are classes on Monday and Tuesday currently for the blended courses. There are no exploratoriums that week because it's Wednesday and Thursday. I already talked to the innovations, and they will be doing class on the Monday and Tuesday. However, I've talked to Gabe. How do you guys feel if we don't have classes on that Monday or Tuesday?
You're totally cutting out.
Okay. How do you feel if we do not have classes on Monday or Tuesday of that conference week?
Suzanne, how do you feel?
I know it's taking away 1 week from your teaching schedule. However, we have 3 very full days on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't want to drain you that week. I do want you guys to have the best of you guys on the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So, I think that's good.
Well, I think that's the issue is that it's kind of time in lieu, right? Yeah. Like it's pretty tough to go 24/7 for 2.5 days if you've already taught 2 full days, right? Yeah. So it's better to like skip an essay or compress your classes than to be exhausted and foul by Thursday, right? So
okay. So what I'm gonna
no, you see, no, Suzanne, you can be exhausted and foul with fellow teachers, but you can still give the kids their teaching.
Exhausting.
Does anybody have any? Well, now that Suzanne stated it, so I don't think anybody's going to pose it now. Not just because of Suzanne, but I think she stated it so well. Okay, Sandra's going to pose it. She's going to be the no.
No.
Okay.
I have a question. Does that include the support blocks, like for Laura Thomas and then Melinda?
Melinda, do you have any thoughts on this?
Personally, I'm only teaching the equivalent of 1 day a week as it is. So if I'm at the conference for 3 full days, I think that Monday afternoon off would be fair.
Okay. For the support groups, I do need to get confirmation from Virginia. So I will, is that correct? These EAs?
Yeah.
Right, Melissa?
Yeah. Do you want me to ask her, Brian? Or
Sure. Yeah. If you could ask her, that'd be great.
I can ask her. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And one more thing.
Yeah,
I just wondering about Roman's community classes. Sorry.
In fairness to Roman, I think we should cancel those two. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Gabby?
Innovations runs the Monday, Tuesday, no matter what, though, right?
I think so. That's what I heard from Lorianne. So.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Okay. So you better show up on your Monday there. Yeah. But then you're still getting your Tuesday off still, right? Because of that? Yeah. Because of this. Is that correct?
I'd be okay with that. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We'll. I think innovations is still going on, but the other aspects of direct are going to be canceled. Okay. Okay, I have 1 minute. Zaption. Zaption, for those of you who don't know, is a way to create interactive videos. Like you take a YouTube video and you can insert questions throughout it, and those responses will go into a spreadsheet for you. So it forces the viewer to interact with the video in a more authentic way. Rather than just viewing it, they're actually answering and responding to questions. I've created an account that I'm willing to, it's a school account that I'm willing to share with any of you who want to take an existing YouTube video or one that you've created and drop questions in throughout it, okay? I can demonstrate it more later on, but it's an excellent tool. I'll share with you later on what Sherman has done for Judith's Law 12 course, and it's excellent. So rather than students just sitting back passively and watching a video, now they're forced to engage with it. And they can't progress in the video until they've answered the question. So it's a tool that we now have access to. There's a free account, but we have a school account where it just enhances the number of tools you can use and the length of certain things. Okay. Last one, this was brought up by Gabe today as he's preparing for the school inspection, and we should be tracking any contact that we have with parents, any communication that we have with parents, and so if you could just be logging that some way, whether that is just in a notebook, just, hey, I talked to so-and-so at a certain point in time. And it's not just like, oh, hey, how are you in the hallway type of thing. It's like if they have some sort of, more important issue to discuss. If you can log that somewhere, or if you just have a folder where you're just tossing things into communication with parents, it is something that is required through the DL agreement that we are logging that somehow. Now, with our students, it's a little bit different. We see our students every week, so we have. That's our way of keeping track of communication with our students. And Gabe and I, we've talked about, and we're okay with that. Now, Melissa, very quickly, I know you mentioned that SN teachers do track their communication with parents, and then maybe even like some of you who have been involved in home or innovation. Melissa, is there a way that you guys do it as a department?
People do. It's been one of those things that there's been lots of suggestions given, but there's currently not. Besides, we have for SN, we have different term formal things that have to be documented, like the visits and stuff, and the planning meeting notes. Right. Otherwise, we do have a tab in one of our documents where people can record and upload like meeting notes and stuff. But everyone at this point has their own system. So some people do it through Google Forms. That's actually, to me, I found that to be the most helpful. Right. You can in Google Forms you could do a general class one, and then anytime you have contact, you just click. You're going to have some options of what it's about, and it all tracks it in a spreadsheet. Yeah. So I found that to be the most efficient because, yeah.
So, yeah. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, yeah.
I think just to make everyone's life easier, just kind of have your own system in place. If for some reason the inspector comes knocking on your door or ringing your number somehow, that you have some way to explain if a parent, how you keep track of communication with parents to some level. Suzanne, yes.
Okay, I missed maybe the first part of that. We're recording our contact with our parents or with our kids?
Kids, not so much, because we already see them face to face, and that's our way of explaining to the ministry, this is how we stay in contact with the students.
Right.
I'll be honest, I'm not really sure the extent of how well how much needs to be tracked. Like, I think it's just more if there's like more official type of meetings that you may have with the parents.
Yeah, because I don't have any dealings usually with the parents unless I'm telling them about a field trip, or I'm at a parent-teacher meeting, which happens twice a year, and you know about it.
Exactly. So unless if a parent calls you in for a meeting and it's something that's a little more serious of nature or important in nature, then in those situations, I would track that somehow. Otherwise, I think we're okay with what's happening because of our regular communication with everyone. Okay.
Sorry, Brian, can I just add one thing?
Sure.
Sorry. We had, just as far as what things to kind of flag, if there are any things that are related to custody, I would document really carefully any communication, because we did have a teacher, one of the SN teachers last year, that almost got pulled into court. Yes. Nothing to do like a negative thing with us, but because they've been a part of our school. And I think that's just general practice, brick and mortar, DL, whatever. It's just good to, if you have any of that, I would just be really careful, because they needed all of her notes of anything.
Good. So I would say this is when it's more important in nature, when they maybe have a concern about the course. Maybe not like a very general basic question, like don't worry about those, but when it becomes a little more serious in nature. Okay. I think it's time to wrap it up. Yes?
I don't know if anybody else is. Some point at the beginning of the year, when Karen was still here,
yes,
I thought she said we didn't need to do the online tracking anymore. We used to have a spreadsheet, and we tracked it with any parent or any. And then I got the thing from Marianne saying we have to do it again. So I hadn't been tracking it for the whole year because, but any communication with students.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know about it. If it's come from Marianne, that's a little more related to online, right? And I think she sent something out today, probably in response to what Gabe was mentioning to us as an SMT. I think in my conversations with Karen and Gabe in the past, I think because we're direct and we see the students on a regular basis, we're probably the most off the hook, or at least on the hook, for something like this, unless it's very serious in nature. And so I can't really speak for online too much. Maybe that probably has to be directed at Marianne. Okay. That's it for me. Does anybody else have anything else that's any burning questions, anything to say? Okay. If not, then yeah, we're off, and have a good evening then. Okay, thanks everyone. Okay, bye-bye. You say bye-bye?